On the agenda tonight, we're going to be discussing the increasingly blurred line between somebody producing pitch with their vocal cords and somebody producing pitch with a computer. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So a bit of a different one for tonight because recently on the channel we had a look at the Eagles and Randy Meisner with his vocal that had been auto-tuned, and this was a performance from the late 70s, and a lot of you did agree with me that it shouldn't be auto-tuned. Old performances should be left as they were to preserve the art that they were exactly when they were performed live, and not to edit that performance, especially of a vocalist, because that is their unique take on a vocal and lots of other things that we got into discussing. But since then, I'm just noticing all over the place auto-tune and pitch correction. And I was watching TV and actually I heard this in the background, and to me, auto-tune is something that just grates my ears. So as soon as I heard this, I just stopped what I was doing on the laptop and looked at the TV, and I realised that it was advertising something that was going to be on TV soon. It was either on Disney Plus or Paramount or one of those subscription channel service things. And it was so bad that I thought, I've got to feature this. It was Meryl Streep, and Meryl's voice has been heavily auto-tuned and pitch corrected, but I did notice in the comment section of the video that I then checked out on YouTube in order to get the audio for this video, that people were saying how great her voice is, and they don't realise, and people don't realise, that this is absolutely commonplace now, that you're not hearing a natural voice and one that hasn't been through a computer processor. So I have isolated the vocal, run it through the pitch monitoring software, so we'll see her voice on screen. I have kept a bit of the video in the background here, hoping that this video doesn't get copyright blocked because of that, but let's have a listen and see what happens.
Hush, little one, let me sing you to sleep.
I mean, that's all I needed to hear when this was on TV, and it wasn't the isolated vocal that I was listening to. You can just tell auto-tune straight away. I mean, we are bang on the lines here, and I'll move it over so that we do get a reference for the notes that if you do want to know. We've got a D4 that we're bang on and the D sharp 4, but let's let it go on.
Moonlight has come, now drift off to a dream.
So here are the classic, I mean, you guys know if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, that when you're directly over the lines all the time, it's not a natural voice. It's not an unedited voice. The pitch has been edited and corrected. This is the other thing that I think, from the sound of Meryl's voice, she's got a good singing voice, but it's been so manipulated and frankly butchered by auto-tune that you don't get to hear her natural voice and the qualities of it, because obviously it sounds like a robot because of the amount of editing it's had done to it. But I don't think she needs this. This is the problem, that they're just taking everybody's voice, even people that are known for singing and are artists and singers and in bands and not necessarily actors who are singing, who have the ability to sing. Meryl definitely has the ability, but sadly they've just felt like they've got to auto-tune everything. I'll let it continue.
Sail from the day.
I was going to say that the killer is when you have this massive jump from the F3, being absolutely spot on with the note, and it's actually as high as a G4, so this just absolutely nailed to the line, and then it's actually the octave below, just over an octave, the F3 being bang on the line.
From the day to the wonders awaiting you out there in the deep.
See, now this is the kind of thing that you can tell Meryl has vocal technique, because she's applying vibrato, and this is where pitch correction comes in. So if you're ever so slightly sharp or flat, they will literally, imagine grabbing this and moving it to the lines, whichever note you want it to be. That, in a nutshell, is pitch correction. Another comment I had on that Eagles video was saying to me, why are you calling it auto-tune and pitch correction different things? Auto-tune is pitch correction. And if you're defining the words, then that's true, of course. Auto-tune is correcting the pitch. But auto-tune and pitch correction are separate processes. And I do have a video explaining that, but quickly, auto-tune is automatic. The computer just moves the noise, whatever's being made, the voice, to the note that it should be, and just sticks it to lines like this. Pitch correction is for after the fact. Once you've recorded your vocal, auto-tune is automatic, so it'll automatically do it, and that's why you can use it live. But pitch correction is after a vocal's been recorded. Say, for example, Meryl's voice here was flat, so it's below this line. They would literally select these lines and just move it up to where the line is. That's pitch correction. It's a manual process. They're looking at the lines and dragging the voice over the top of it. And that's what's done with phrases that have vibrato, because the note is constantly moving. So it's hard or harder for a computer to work out where the note is. So listen to it in slow motion.
There.
You can hear how the note is wobbling. So a computer doesn't know whether to snap it, to the note above, the note below, or trying to flatten out that note. It just sounds really dodgy. So they leave that as it is and just drag it themselves manually. Whereas for a straight note, if that was then that would be easy for the computer just to take that sound and snap it. And you don't even have to be accurate with the note. That's the point. That the noise that I just made, that would be stuck to the A3, regardless of where I sang it, because that's what auto-tune is. But we will listen on.
Little one, chase the wind on the waves. Adventure is calling, so go and be brave. But if you get lost as you're tossed in the dark of the sea, look for me. I will wait at...
I mean, it's this kind of thing that when you see it stuck to the line, and especially, I've said in the past, if you ever start to not be able to see where the voice is because it is so on the line, that can only be auto-tune with this consistency of hitting notes, holding that note so pristinely to 440 hertz equal temperament. And this is the point, that music doesn't work like this, sound doesn't work like this, frequencies don't work like this, because this is something that humans have invented to try to make sense of sound. And that's what 440 hertz equal temperament is taking all of the notes as frequencies and doing away really with some of the values of those frequencies in order to make the tuning even. Just to get a piano and say, right, that note is that note, and then 100 cents higher than that we'll have another note. Regardless of what that frequency is, we're going to make it now organized. We're trying to organize sound. So when somebody's singing, you don't have this in your vocal cords. You don't have 440 hertz tuning equal temperament. You sing with sound. So great singers use frequency and sound to hit the best note, and a note that will affect you emotionally. And more often than not, those notes are not on these lines. And that's the point, that this is something that we've invented and everyone now tunes to this. But when singers sing, you don't tune your vocal cords to 440 hertz tuning.
The shore for you I will weather each storm, standing by till safe you return from the night. My love is a lighthouse, so darling, my darling, look for the light.
And now she's joined by another singer who comes up on stage. And by the way, this is from a TV show, so it's not as if this is somebody performing live who's an artist and they're using auto-tune and people don't realise. But the problem that this causes, which I will show you later on, is that people now don't know what auto-tune is and what a natural voice is, because people are hearing this thinking it's a real voice. Yet, regardless of whether it's in a TV show or not, they're assuming that we're hearing a real vocal here. So they're starting to apply what they're hearing here to the recording industry. And the recording industry, I mean, this is a default anyway, unfortunately, but we'll listen on. And by the way, the other voice has been auto-tuned as well.
The light, I will wait at the shore for you. I will weather each storm, standing by you till safe you return from the night. So darling, my darling, look for the light, the light.
And there we have it. So anyway, you don't need me to tell you what's going on here. You can hear where Meryl actually flips up into more of a head voice sound. So she's got vocal technique. I think this is what annoys me the most, is that you're listening to a voice that you can tell underneath all of the computer processing, the voice does have fundamental singing ability in there, but it's been overridden by a computer. So, I mean, this would be great to hear the natural voices. And by the way, sitting in the audience of this scene, we did see Steve Martin, and he's an award-winning musician and artist in his own right. I'm sure that he probably isn't a fan of this kind of thing. The fact that it's just really badly done as well. I mean, all I need to do is just pull it back to a random place and you'll see how everything's just stuck to the line. But any piece of vibrato is just been dragged directly over lines. We know that that doesn't happen with the best singers of all time. And again, directly over lines, directly over lines. So even the vibrato and the expression of that vibrato has been eliminated by going to 440 hertz and just putting it directly over the line, literally grabbing all of these. So into part 2 of tonight's video, I was scrolling through either YouTube or Instagram. I don't know where I saw this, but I saved it. It is one of those videos that's very quick and it just keeps looping around. So like a shorts video, I guess, on YouTube. I'm going to let this play through, and it's got the live vocal on the right hand side, auto-tune on the left, as you can see. Let's have a listen.
Go and I wouldn't get you hung up on somebody that you used to know. You didn't have to cut me off. You said that you could let it go, and I wouldn't get you hung up on somebody that you used to know. You didn't have to cut me off.
And there we have it. So it's just going to keep on looping around. Now, the reason for this video is there's no auto-tune on either of these vocals. And I can take it back. If people are struggling to spot it, that's why. So people are now making videos thinking that something's auto-tuned when it's not. It is literally a natural vocal that's been recorded in the studio. And I mean, this track from Gautier is just a great track as well. And he's the kind of guy who does everything live and in the studio doesn't use auto-tune and doesn't use pitch correction, and live he won't use auto-tune either. He's just a proper musician, you know, as you can tell if you listen to any of his stuff. But anyway, I'm now going to move over to the pitch monitoring software because, of course, I have run the isolated vocals through the pitch monitoring software to show you that it's not auto-tuned. So there is a slight difference in pitch between the video and then the live version, but that's purely due to the live version just being tuned ever so slightly differently, which happens all the time. So let's have a listen.
Oh, and I wouldn't get you hung up on somebody that you used to know. You didn't have to call.
So at the end of this phrase, I don't know whether you can see that here, is sharp of the A4. So you want to remember that, because I mean, this is all, we're not on lines here. We're slightly sharp anyway, tuning wise, where we should be, but this is the live version, so it's not going to be auto-tuned anyway. Let's let it play on.
You said that you could let it go, and I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know.
And here, where she's going, no, she goes a little bit flat of the A4, but then we have the other vocal coming in. So, I mean, it's not really flat to the point where you would notice it, but this is the point about using the vocal pitch monitor and isolating vocals and looking at it in this kind of detail. That, as we've just seen with auto-tune, with the Meryl Streep performance, this doesn't happen with auto-tune. It would be stuck to a line. This is flat of the line, and this is on the version that is tuned to 440 Hertz, equal temperament. So if auto-tune were being used, this would be stuck to the line. There's no way that this would be allowed through, because it's a straight note and it's slightly flat. It would have been changed. But this is what the channel is saying is auto-tuned. And this, again, annoys me a bit, because people are saying things are auto-tuned without actually taking the vocal, putting it through any kind of software to evaluate whether it is or not. They just think they hear it and say, oh, look, that's obviously auto-tuned because I think it sounds like it is, and I'm going to do a video saying that it's auto-tuned. So, I mean, it's outrageous, really, because auto-tune was not used in the studio and it's not used live. So this video that we're looking at is totally bogus. But it must be quite a watched video for it to even pop up on whatever I saw this on. And that's the problem that we've got now, that you've got performances in the 70s and, maybe probably the 60s by now as well, that are being re-released and being auto-tuned. People that are actually singing are now being called out for using auto-tune when they're not using it. And then just in the industry now, it's a standard to be using auto-tune and pitch correction. So yeah, I mean, what a mess we are in at the moment with the music industry, because nobody knows what's going on. I think there are people, like myself, unfortunately, that can hear auto-tune immediately, so it just ruins any performance that you're listening to that has that applied to it. But also, I can hear when there's a natural voice. So when I saw this video and I was listening to it, I could hear that there's no auto-tune on this. We're hearing natural vocals all the time. So this is allegedly the auto-tune.
You said that you could let it go,
And immediately we were flat.
and I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used
And we were flat here. We were flat again.
to know.
And then we were bang on and then went flat. And actually the next vocal that comes in is a little bit flat as well. So this is the point. I mean, when I say flat, I mean not so as you would notice, but when you look at it in this kind of detail, nothing is going to be on the line, literally on zero of 440 Hertz tuning. That doesn't happen with great singers. And when we listen to this, I mean, just listen to the vocal.
You said that you could let it go, and I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know.
I mean, there's still so much expression in that vocal, even right at the end. Just everything about this vocal, just
Somebody that you used to know.
there going, used to know. It's kind of a kind of, a release of expression that's all part of the vocal, and the inaccuracy of the vocal allows that expression to happen. So, I mean, like I said, I just love that song. I love the expression of this song as well, but just everything about it, the lyrical content, the vocal delivery, and the fact that it isn't using auto-tune. So anyway, I mean, this wasn't really going to be a rant type video. It's just to put it out there that especially the general public now, I don't think they know anything of what's going on and what singing is anymore, and what a good voice is, what a natural voice is, one that's been edited to within an inch of its life. So, I mean, on the channel, I'm going to keep on pointing it out and letting you guys know if I am looking at a performance that's using auto-tune or pitch correction. And if there is a performance that somebody else has painted with the brush of auto-tune and it's not, I'm going to let you guys know as well when somebody is actually producing the voice that we're hearing and just has that vocal ability. So anyway, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Keep those suggestions and requests for future videos coming in the comment section as well. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!